So now let's get started. So before we start with the DELL BOOMI AtomSphere, before we understand what DELL BOOMI is, it is important for us to know about cloud service ecosystem. So in recent days, the cloud-based SaaS services are becoming very popular. The reason is because of its on-demand model of delivery and price per usage model. Like in olden days, if you want to build any project, you will have to build a complete infrastructure, and it will affect your manufacturing costs, physical effort is required, all this. But now recent days, if you want to build any project, you just go buy the services that are readily available for you. You pay for what you use, and you drop the services once you're done. For that reason, the cloud based SaaS services are becoming very popular, right? And coming to the key characteristics, they can be accessed easily through your desktop, laptop, mobile, etc. And it can be used by multiple people. People can share the resources. It can easily increase or decrease based on the user base, right? The solutions can scale up or down easily, and billing of the services also can be easily measured. So you'll be able to see how much you are being costed, and if you see that you are over costed, you can drop the services which you are not using. This way you can limit, or you can take the advantage of the cloud based SaaS services. Okay, now Boomi integration also fits very well into this cloud service ecosystem. We'll now see how. So, guys, if you have any questions or if you're not clear with any topic, please stop me there and I'll be able to clear your doubts. Okay. Now, coming to DELL BOOMI integration. So, DELL BOOMI is industry's first fully on demand integration platform as a service, which means you don't have to install any softwares onto your system. You just open your browser, say platform.boomi.com on your browser, and you'll be able to connect to DELL BOOMI platform. So it is the number one and first fully on demand iPaaS solution. And DELL BOOMI allows you to integrate data between your on-premise and the cloud applications. So all your on-premise applications that include your database or SFTP, FTP, which are behind the firewall. So you can integrate data between your on-premise and the cloud applications, and cloud to on-premise, and on-premise to on-premise as well, right? As we discussed, it is industry's first integration cloud that allows you to integrate between all your different on-premise and the cloud applications, right? So now we were saying that DELL BOOMI is an iPaaS solution, which is integration platform as a service. So what is integration here? Integration is nothing but combining of your software and hardware components into an overall system. Say now if you want to integrate data between your Salesforce and database, there is a cloud application called Salesforce, and you want to integrate that data to database, which is your local application. So if you want to integrate these two, if you want to transfer data between these two, you'll have to integrate. So all those that you are required over here, the software and hardware components required to build this complete system is called integration. There are two types of integrations: B2B, which is business to business integration, and application integration. So business to business integration is where you are integrating data or system across two or more organizations. So they are called like your trading partners, which have standard format for transferring your data. So they are business to business integration. And application integration is where you are integrating data within a single organization, right? So DELL BOOMI is a single instance multi-tenant architecture, which means there is only one platform that is running, whereas users from different areas of the world can connect to DELL BOOMI AtomSphere. So it allows users from different companies to integrate data between your on-premise and the cloud applications, right? So distributed architecture with centralized management and monitoring. So as told, DELL BOOMI is a single instance multi-tenant architecture. So there is only a single instance that is running on cloud. It is hosted on Rackspace Cloud Server. DELL BOOMI platform is hosted on Rackspace Cloud Server. So there's only one instance running, and users from different areas of the world can connect to DELL BOOMI platform just by saying platform.boomi.com. So the main features of DELL BOOMI are patent pending Atom technology, which means a very user friendly UI where you can just drag and drop and build your processes. Centralizedly controlled, distributed execution, instant load scalability, and no single point of failure. So we have data replicated across different data centers. So there is never a single point of failure. So even if there is one data center down, we have the data existed in other data centers. So there is never any harm to our data, right? So you might get a doubt how to access the platform. So these are the three different URLs which will take you onto the same page. It's www.boomi.com, platform.boomi.com, and ondemand.boomi.com. All three will take you to the same page, right? So how this actually works? So it has three different tabs: build, deploy, and manage. Build is where we have a library of components where you just drag and drop and build your integrations. And in deploy tab, you deploy your atoms to the Atomsphere. So say if you want to make your processes available behind the firewall, in that case you'll have to deploy your processes to the atom. So we'll discuss what atoms are. And in manage, you see the status of your process executions, whether it is success or failure, how many documents coming and going out. So all that we can see in manage tab. So we'll see in detail about this. Okay. So now, what is an atom? So far we've told that platform like Boomi is built on top of Java, right? So in order to execute your Java code, we'll need something called JRE, right? JRE is nothing but the libraries required to execute your Java code. Similarly, in order to execute your Boomi process, we need something called an atom. So atom is the runtime engine. So if you see here, Atom is lightweight because it is a small executable file that gets downloaded onto your system. It's dynamic because once it is up and running, you can access it from anywhere. And runtime engine. So an Atom is a lightweight dynamic runtime engine. It is secured, centralizedly controlled, and there is no single point of failure. Right? So now, as Srikant asked, how the communication happens here. So if you see here, this is an Atom. So it is a runtime engine loaded onto your system. Now the communication should happen between your Atom and the platform. So platform is a DELL Boomi platform instance, the Boomi code running. So the communication between the Atom and the data center uses SSL 128-bit encryption. So the data is secured and they communicate only through outbound port 443, right? And the Atom uses a standard SSL handshake to authenticate with platform.boomi.com. So this way we can make sure that the data is very secured, and also the communication between the Atom and the data center also is very secure. Also, Dell Boomi have undergone many security certifications with different connectors like NetSource, Salesforce, to make sure that their data is very secured. Right? So, as we discussed, Atom is a small, powerful, self-contained, intelligent, robust, and highly scalable. Right? So, now how to access the platform? As we told, platform.boomi.com. So, once you are added to the account, you'll be provided with email address and password. So, just on providing that email address and password, you'll be able to log on to Dell Boomi platform. And this is how the UI looks like. Once you log in, you'll be landed on this page. So you'll be having three tabs as we discussed: build, deploy, manage. So build is where you have all the components readily available. You just have to drag and drop and build your integration. Deploy is where you see the state. If you want your process to be available behind the firewall, you'll have to deploy that process. And manage is where we see the status of your executions, whether it's a success or a failure, how many documents coming and going out, and all this will be able to see in process reporting, which is in manage tab. And these are the administration links, these are the welcome tab, and process action buttons. So these are the inbuilt components which we are talking. They are called shapes palette, right? So this is the component explorer, and this is called process canvas. Right? So let's now see how we are going to log in. So you don't have to install any software on your system. You'll just go to your browser and say platform.boomi.com. Just say platform.boomi.com. And it asks for your email address and password. You can just provide your email address. So once you're added to any account, so say in real time if you're working for any project, the admin will add you to that account. So once you're added, you'll be provided with the username and password. So you can provide them and just say login. So see here, once you're logged in, you'll be able to see this page. This is the account name, and this is the messages, if there are any, will be shown here. The component explorer. So you can create a component here. So see here, these all are different components available. These all are different components available. So process is the main component where you have to start with. So say now very simple integration will do. I'll try to get the data from disk from one folder and store it into a different folder. Say for example, I have these files in this particular folder, C drive demo files in folder, and now I need to send those data to this folder. Okay, so this is a simple integration that I'm going to do now. So in folder I have 3 files. I need to send that to out folder. This is my project or integration what I'm going to do. So I'll have to first create a process saying disk integration. So I'll create a process first. We'll discuss in detail about all these steps in our classes once started. But now let me create the connector. So in order to now connect to disk, I have a connector called disk. I just have to select the connector disk, and first I need to pull the data from this particular folder, right? So I'll just provide this particular path here. So connection specifies where I'll have to connect to. Connection specifies where I'll have to connect to. So I'll give the directory path here. I'll just give this path where I'll have to pull the files from, right? And in operation, I'll specify what files I need. So file filter, when I say star, all files will be retrieved. Or if you want any specific file, you can provide that over here. So we'll discuss in detail about all this in our training session. But now just for you to understand how Boomi works and how easy it is to work with Boomi, I'll place a stop shape here. So this is a simple integration to pull the data or pull the files from this particular path. Okay, so now I've built this process. Now in order to execute this, I will need the, can you guys say what it is? In order to execute this process, what will I need? That's right. That's right.
Atom.
So I'll click on test here and you'll see select atom. It says select the atom. So I've already have my atom installed. So there are actually two types of atoms. They are local atom and cloud atom. So let's not get more complex now. In later one a training session, I'll explain all that in detail. But now this is a local atom installed on my system. Okay. So I'll select this and I'll say run test. So if you have to access your local applications, you need to have an atom installed in that particular system. And for cloud applications, you can use the cloud atom. So see now we have 3 files, and so you can see 3 files here. Can you able to see that? 3 files. So for example, now see the data here. So see here, this is the file account1.xml. So now if I go to Boomi here, and if I open this particular document, I'll be able to see the same data. See here. So by this, it has pulled the three documents that are present in this particular desk. Account1.xml from directory, this and this size as well. And second document account2.xml and account3.xml. Right? Now we have seen how to pull the data, and now I'll need to send the data to the out folder, right? So again, I'll use this connector over here, and this time the action is going to be a send action, right? And connection, I will.
Shalini, it's a
Yeah.
bit slow. It's loading very slow actually.
Okay. I'll take some time and then start. So let me know once you're on the same page. Are you looking at C demo files folder in and
Yes,
out,
yes,
right? So
yes.
now I'll copy this particular path. So this is the path where I have to send the data to, right? So I'll give this in the connection here. You're able to see the disconnection, right? Out disconnection.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So in the target, so this is my target. So in target, I've given the target path where I need to send the data. And similarly, select your operation. So connection specifies where I'll have to connect to, and operation specifies how I'll have to connect to. Okay. And create directory if doesn't exist. So that particular directory doesn't exist, then you can, if you check this, it creates that directory. Else if you uncheck and if the directory doesn't exist, it will throw you an error. So also you have different file naming options here. We'll see all that in detail later. So that's it. We are done with the integration. And now again, to see that the data to flow into this particular directory, now data is not present, but now after I execute this, I just executed this particular integration. So see now, the three files are present here. So see this, the same file, right? So DELL BOOMI provides its own naming convention with .dat extension. If you don't provide any file name, so it provides its own file name with .dat extension. We'll now discuss about the components. So as we have seen, Boomi process, this is the core integration component. So processes are built, deployed and managed. So this contains all the steps and components required to build your full integration flow. And the act of running the process is called an execution. Right? And the next component is a connector. So this is the main component through which we get the data in and out of the Boomi process. So this has two components, connection and operation. So connection specifies where I'll have to connect to. Nihant, can you go on mute, please? Yeah. So connection specifies where you'll have to connect to. As we have seen in disk, the location, the directory should be provided in the connection. And operation specifies how we'll have to connect to. So now as we given which file, the file filter, so all that can be provided in the operation. So also we'll have different connectors like database, SFTP, FTP. So say for example you have database, in connection you'll be providing the host name, username, password, etc. And operation you'll be specifying which data you will have to retrieve from which table. So that can be provided in the operation, right? So here there are few listed. So database, Salesforce, FTP. So database connection will be specifying database host name, username, password, schema, etc. And operation will specify which profile, etc. to use, right? So next important component is a profile. So profile specifies the format or layout of the document coming in and out of the Boomi Atomsphere. So say now we are getting data out of database. So the profile here is the database profile, and it specifies what is the length of each field, what is the data type of each field. All that will be specified in the database profile, right? And next important component is the map. So map transforms from one structured data to another structured data. Say for example, you need to integrate data between Salesforce to database. So out of Salesforce, I'll get an XML data. And database, if I'll have to send data to database, it have to be a database profile. So this conversion from XML to database is done through a map. And you can also define your own functions like string concatenation, first name, last name, you can combine and give as a full name. So all this kind of functions you can use it in the map, right? And this will be a source profile, and this is called the destination profile. So now see a simple example over here to understand how the document flow happens. So this is simple integration where I'll get data from Salesforce and I'll check the type. If it is of valid type, I will convert that data to CSV and I'll combine those documents into a single document. I'll give a name to it and will load into disk. If it is of not valid type, we'll have to just stop that document. Say now out of Salesforce, I've got 4 documents. Okay. So next, all the 4 documents will go to the next shape and it will check for the type here. So out from this, 3 documents have gone through the valid type. 3 documents have this valid type. So then they have gone to XML to CSV map. And in data process, all these 3 documents I'm combining into a single document like this. And in set properties, I'm giving a name to it. I'm setting a name to this document and sending that document to disk. And the failed document will then go to false path. So the true path will get executed first and then the false path will get executed, right? So then coming to the Dell Boomi support options. So we have 24/7 support available for Dell Boomi. So we have phone support, call, chat. You can also raise Boomi support cases. So the Boomi support team will be readily available to answer your queries. And we also have knowledge based articles, reference guides, discussion forums. So all that available. So the advantages of Boomi. So it's only a drag and drop as we have seen. It's just a drag and drop workflow. There is no coding required. And support for simple to complex business logic, simple wizards for browsing applications. Like we have seen connectors. So in connectors we have seen we can select we can connect to different connectors like this. So we have database, disk, FTP, Google Maps, Google Sheets, and MDM, etc. So all these are different applications that Boomi has access to. And access to hundreds of applications and data sources, unlimited scalability, any to any data transformation using maps, industry certified security model, and also we can build our own connectors. So there is something called custom connector. So we can build our own connectors as well. No software or appliance required to install or maintain, on demand access to integration platform, instant deploy anywhere in the world, full feature dashboard, and full feature no disk drive. So according to, this is a Gartner survey if you are aware of. According to Gartner survey as of April 2018, Dell Boomi stands second. First stands Informatica Cloud, but right now there is a tough competition and Dell Boomi was actually the leader in 2016 and 17, and in 2018 it stands second, right? So that's about Dell Boomi Atomsphere demo.